Welcome back to the Thursday edition of Drip Music X, where we bring in interview guests and we interview them. Fresh Beeler, how you doing, man? Stash, how you doing?
Better than you, it seems, my boy. What's going on, bro? You all right?
Yeah, you kind of stumbled through that.
I've never seen you tongue-tied in my life.
Listen.
Can you just say something for me really quick?
The strawberry cream hit me just then.
How much ground could a groundhog pound if a groundhog could pound ground? Say it for me real quick.
Dude, I am not going to talk about pounding groundhogs live on the internet. Not ever.
Sorry, just introduce the guest. I'm already.
We'll get demonetized for that.
Exactly, man. We're not doing that. No We're not putting the hashtag pound groundhogs.
All right. So how much wood could a woodchuck chuck? If
we're not talking about we're not talking about chucks and their wood, okay? You need to get off of these topics. Anyway, our guest tonight, and I really messed up and did not ask how to pronounce the last name, but Karl Agell. Agell.
Agell.
Welcome. Agell.
There we go.
Yeah, man.
Sorry about that. I'm terrible with names. It's always
my whole life, man. Agell, agile, angel.
I'm like, yeah, I've never seen that last name. It's unique.
Agley.
Agley. Wait, how did it get to Agley? There's no Y or E or I on the end.
I know. It's people.
So, that's crazy.
Right on, man.
Well, welcome to Drip Music X, Karl. How you doing tonight?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, man. I'm doing really good. There's a lot of cool shit going on that I can't wait to go on about.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
I know Fresh is super excited because it's not very often.
Well, I feel like he killed my buzz, bro. He said, "Well, listen, I was born there, but
I'm not really Canadian.
I'm not really Canadian."
No, I am. Well, I technically am. I have citizenship.
You have dual citizenship?
I have triple.
I was gonna say maybe 3.
Yeah, man. I got so yeah. I don't want to. You want me to just tell you what happened? I can
sure.
Tell you what happened.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've got Swedish parents that are all. My family's originally from Stockholm. I'm the youngest of 3 kids. I've got 2 older sisters, and I was born in Canada along with my middle sister, the one before me, because my parents had moved there in the 1960s. Like that's how old I am, and they were working there in Montreal, in Quebec. And I popped out, and that's where I was born. And when I was about 3 years old and change, my dad decided to take us back to Sweden. But by being born to Swedish parents, I had the Swedish passport immediately. Then I had the Canadian one by birth also, but I used the Swedish one. We went back to Sweden, and then we moved to Hong Kong. My dad got a job in Hong Kong in 1971. It was a British colony, Hong Kong, in China, and I went to an American school there. So from 71 to 81, I was there for like 10 and a half years.
What did your dad do?
Well, he's gone, but what he did back then, he got it. The reason he moved to Hong Kong is he got it when he took us back to Canada, from Canada back to the U.S. He was switching up jobs and was looking for something else, and then got a job with Volvo. The cars and trucks, Volvo Far East, and the Swedes were always non-aligned and neutral. So when they moved to Hong Kong, they could get in and make deals with the communist Chinese. Now it's before China opened up, before Nixon went into China. So the Swedes were neutral, and there was no, they had access like other people didn't, kind of like the Swiss, but the Swedes also were neutral, and so they were just selling truck chassis and stuff around Asia and all that. My mom was a school teacher, and we moved there and ended up in an American school system, and that's that's why I sound the way I do.
Wow.
Wow.
And where are you now?
I'm in North Carolina. I've been here since 1989. Specifically moved here to
best year in the world. Right, best year ever.
Right, damn right. And I moved here specifically at that point after college. That's how old I am, to sing for Corrosion of Conformity. They were looking for a singer, and I answered an ad in the Village Voice Classifieds. This is before the interwebs, right? So they were putting ads in the Village Voice, which is a really cool paper in New York City. and in the classifieds, and I just used to check them out and read them, and I had friends who brought my attention to it, and there's like, hey, dude, Corrosion of Conformity is looking for a singer, and it said looking for a cross between Ian Gillan, James Hetfield, and H. Sharp from the Bad Brains or something like that, and and I was like, oh shit, I love all that stuff, and I'd already been playing out since 1983 in hardcore bands. I was in a band called Seizure, and was just 16 years old. I was just hanging out, going to these shows, finding family in the local hardcore punk scene in the early 80s, loving it. In high school, just like finally a crazy freak. It was that. So that rolls back to I moved from Hong Kong to Connecticut in 1981 because my mom got remarried to a Scottish guy that lived in Greenwich, Connecticut.
A Scottish guy who lived in Connecticut?
Yeah, a Scottish guy from Glasgow. Yeah, very Scottish. So, yeah, Frank McDonald. So,
yeah, he's very Scottish for sure.
Very Scottish. Yeah. He was a tough cookie, smart guy, man. But yeah, he's long gone as well. But
well, I can see.
I could go on and on and on. There's lots of twists and turns in my story.
Oh, I'm sure we're gonna get to a lot of it. You are Swedish originally, I can tell, because you look like a Viking. You definitely.
That's right. You're damn right.
Any seasons of the Vikings for sure.
You're damn right. You're right up with that.
No, I was not looking at the chat. Sorry about that. Yeah, man. So you've been around all around the world. You got triple citizenship, and you've been doing music since the 80s. Maybe or maybe a little bit earlier. Would you start in the 80s, you'd say?
Yeah, for sure. I had two older sisters and my family was into music as well. So I've got all the vinyl downstairs. I've got thousands of records, and it's all the family stuff I ended up with. And I even got my wife's former in-laws Victrola with old stuff. And we have like this 1960s jukebox. That's the real deal. But I got tons and tons of vinyl. And a lot of it goes back to like family collections going back into the 60s and stuff.
Wow.
And so it's super cool. And I was really lucky, man. There's always music in the house. And when we moved to Hong Kong, it was like this capitalist, free enterprise, warehouse where everything was cheap. So everybody would get the electronics from Japan for next to nothing, in Hong Kong. And my dad had this killer sound system. I still have most of it, and I grew up, cranking albums on the stuff and just being blown away by the stuff. With an older sister who turned me on to like Led Zeppelin and the Doors, she's, and then my next sister turned me on to a bunch of like punk and new wave stuff. And it stuck with me, and she bought me my first punk album, like the first Clash album, and it was just awesome, man. I had a really good education, and I was also playing music. I played my great aunt gave me a harmonica when I was 10 years old, and I was playing alto sax and jazz ensemble and chamber ensemble.
I played alto sax as a kid as well.
Yeah.
MJ MJ in the chat is asking what your favorite vinyl is.
Oh Jesus, God, that's a really tough question, man. I got a lot of things. Like, man, so many different favorites for different times. Some of my favorite stuff is my old Thin Lizzy stuff that I was, love Thin Lizzy. I got a bunch of original Thin Lizzy pressings. That's one of my favorite bands of all time. This is all kinds of crazy stuff in my collection. I've got this. Actually, some of my favorite stuff when I was younger was we have this 10 record set, a box set that was back then pirated. But it was like every Beatles album in a box set.
Wow.
And it was pressed in like Singapore, and had the Let It Be album cover. And so we had all these stacks of it, and so I could just pull out whatever record, whatever era, and I was like into it. When I was so young, I didn't realize, this belongs to an actual. It's this album or this album, But cool. It's just I have so many records, man. I don't want to wear you out, but
now is Pabst Blue Ribbon your favorite beer?
It used to be. It's funny, man. Somebody gave me that a long time ago. My guitar player. So my band Leadfoot, which was my post COC band when I parted ways with them, had kind of a messy divorce, and then the bassist, I got booted. He quit to join me. We started Leadfoot, and when I first moved to North Carolina, I won a Pabst Blue Ribbon patch
Wow.
in 1989 or whatever on at the fair, at the state fair in Raleigh. You know, like throwing something and knocking it over, and I won it. I was like, yeah, I'll take that. And then I ended up gluing it onto this cowboy hat, and it was like kind of my MO for a while with Leadfoot.
Oh, that's incredible.
Drinking cheap. This is way before it was hip. We're just
Right.
I get fucked up on cheap beer. You know.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
You still have the cowboy hat with the
I
patch
do.
on
It's
it?
downstairs. I do. It's downstairs.
Awesome.
It's looking a little worse for the wear. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
I used to laugh because that hat got more head than I did, right?
Ah.
Can I wear that hat? Yeah, god damn it. Sure.
Nice.
That's funny.
So you've been in a lot of bands.
Yeah.
How many bands have you been in, and how many are you currently in?
Shit. Well, Seizure was I had a band actually in Hong Kong called
Oh wow.
like for a little band, we were just experimenting, figuring out like, oh, we could play music. I was like 13. It was like 1979, 1980, maybe 13, 14. And we played a gig on the roof of the apartment building. We were like kind of like trying to like be the Beatles or something, you know, like playing that final concert, you know. That band for a second was called Amon-Ra, like named after the Egyptian sun god. That was pretty ridiculous, you know. But it wasn't really a band. It was just a thought, a kind of an attempt. And then my first actual band was Seizure. So named by the drummer who happened to be epileptic. He named the band, a great punk band name, you know. But yeah, Jeff named it that, you know. It was his idea. It wasn't our idea. He just said, they drafted me into it. I was just a kid in the scene, and they're like, "Hey, you want to sing for our band?" I was like, "Okay."
All right.
And then I started, you know, kind of yelling and screaming, do my thing, and then I realized, oh shit, I can sing, you know. Kind of work over the years, I figured it out. But so it was Seizure, and from Seizure, I went to a band called School of Violence in 1987, and we were signed to Death Metal Blade, famous metal, you know,
big
label.
Big label.
You know, Brian Slagle, like William Howell was working with Death, and these are known guys back in the scene. And so, yeah, at the same label that like COC was signed to, and a couple bands were on Death. And they were doing a lot of crossover stuff. School of Violence, I was in the band for about a year. We did a little bit of touring. Did that album. It was called We the People. It's been reissued by Brutal Planet. It was originally a Death Metal Blade. So you can look for it. It's out there. School of Violence, We the People. Okay. And I was really going for the Kronos Cal, you know, like guttural, real throaty kind of thing, trying to figure out my way. And that's before I was like, wow, this is cool, but it hurts, you know. I love this stuff, you know. I love Kronos from Venom. I love Cal from Discharge. I love Tom Warrior from, you know, Celtic Frost, you know, all that stuff. But I was like, I don't think I can do this in the long run. And then I left that band after about a year, and then saw that ad, basically saying, hey, COC's looking for somebody. And I knew those guys because my band Seizure had opened up for them in 85. I'd seen them in 84. I'd seen them again with so different versions of the band. I saw them with Simon Bob in 87, you know, so I was a big fan. And then I was like, oh shit, I confirmed with mutual friends that they were actually looking for somebody. And you know, Reed came up to meet me in New York City, and then I came down for an audition. It was May of 1989, and I got the gig on the spot, you know. And that's within the next 2 years, we recorded Blind, you know. And in fact, before that album was even out, we went out with Danzig and Soundgarden. Danzig was doing Lucifuge too, and Soundgarden was on the Louder Than Love tour. And we went from L.A. to Boston 6 weeks. I could write a book on that tour, man. It was just nuts. So
wow,
that was even before the album came out. We were just doing the old stuff and a couple of new songs that we were working out, you know. And then
where's your favorite place to tour?
Oh God, well, that's hard to say. I love it was pretty much anywhere. I know, you know, you know what I love? I love going to Europe. You know, like you know, they're so professional. The production's so good. There's always catering. They take care of you. You know. But no, it's anywhere, you know. You know, as long as there's some people that show up, that's pretty cool. I'll go to any stage anywhere. It's just
Awesome.
easier to tour on the East Coast, the West Coast. There's some really sick drives, but
Yeah,
I can't complain, man. If I get the opportunity, I'm happy to be there. Just as long
that's
as
a great answer. I don't think anybody's
Yeah.
answered that way. Have they before?
right on.
I got a question for you.
Sure, man.
The crowds from the earlier days with COC and through Leadfoot into your current bands, how have the crowds changed?
Well, I think people were specifically really just before this is also, you got to remember at the time there was no internet. So things were either like by flyers, posters, word of mouth, or print advertising, or college radio, or that kind of thing. Not commercial radio generally,
No.
but
Right.
like college radio if you were lucky. But like I said, people put flyers and handing them out, or you found you would gravitate towards a club. You'd be in a scene specifically for me, and they had a built-in thing going. They had this rotation of bands that would come across the country and stop by, and so I think the crowds worked a little bit harder in the sense it was just a different experience in that way. It wasn't just kind of put out there. So, and also it's also a function, I think, of me being younger and more engaged, and everybody being younger in my age group, and then me getting older. Obviously less of the older crew is going to be quite as enthralled in going to every single show, the FOMO thing, so I don't know, it goes in waves, I mean, right now what I'm experiencing is a really cool wave of like old things are cool again.
Yeah.
I was out earlier this last year, or several months ago. We were out, the band from Chicago that I'm in, which is there's two versions of it called, one's The Skull, where I'm doing all the Eric Wagner stuff from the previous two albums, and he was the singer from Trouble. And then there's the Legions of Doom thing, which is this kind of transition record where Scott Rieger's from St. Vitus, the almighty St. Vitus from LA, and myself kind of split vocal duties with that.
Wow.
And on that album, he's not going on the European tour, so I'm handling all the vocal duties, but on this leg, but he's done it before. So I'm losing track. What was I talking about? So I forgot what I was saying, man.
Hey, no worries, man. You're giving us all types of great content, man.
No, man, I had a point. I really did have a point there. I just lost it for a second. It's been a long day.
It happens to me all the time. Don't worry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I didn't even smoke anything, man.
Oh, man. That may be the problem.
Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, guys. Give me a second. No, I guess what was the question? Oh, so the crowds, right? So what I've seen is a resurgence. So I was out with those guys months back. Thank you. And it was mind blowing. All of a sudden, the kids were the same age as when I first started going to shows. I was like, what's going on here? And we're a bunch of dudes in our late 50s, some of us in the guys in their early 60s, like literally, and then
Right.
there was, it looked like high school kids there. I think they were, and kids in their early 20s, and they were stage diving and going ape shit for us.
Oh, wow.
Like in Nashville and stuff. And it was like, and we were fucking cool. We weren't like, yeah, fuck you, old man, kind of thing. No, but it was just like this. So what I'm seeing is right now, the crowds, I'm seeing a really cool cyclical wave of people that are really appreciative of the past, kind of the way that I would look to like Black Sabbath or, all the venerable, great heavy metal and hard rock bands from the past, and be super excited to see them no matter what they're doing, how old they are, So, and that was super cool. It's just the love of the music is transcending just any perception of cool, and that's the greatest thing about the whole heavy music community, whether it's punk or metal, rock, all the forms of rock and roll in between. It's just such a great community of people that really, really give a shit and get excited about it. And I think we're luckier than a lot of scenes because it's organic. Even with the internet and stuff, it's still organic. There's this real passion for it that I think a lot of other music scenes don't really have in the same way,
Yeah, I think it's because of the live performance aspect, where a lot of
Sure.
live performance aspect and a lot of it's gone away now, and several industries pop, and hip hop is just half naked girls. Shout out Sabrina Carpenter.
Right.
But
I mean, I'm sure there's people still doing it, the really doing it, like for real doing it.
oh yeah,
But
you got a
there's
lot of
always those people
gimmicky
that,
stuff too now.
oh yeah, and that's what gets attention. We live
Right.
in a system where I don't even think 30 seconds might be too long. You get 10
Yes.
seconds on TikTok or
Yeah.
15 seconds to like all of a sudden you're a superstar, right?
Yeah.
And it's just some, a meme basically or something. And hey, I didn't come up with that, so it's weird to me. But I'm not going to fault somebody that doesn't know the other experience because they might not have been exposed to it.
Right.
It's up to us to, hey, bring them in, man, make it cool.
Exactly. Now, what do you think about this new wave of AI in music that's happening?
I think it's pretty terrifying in the sense that I just, it's look, people, you can argue, oh, synthesizers and this and that. People have always been doing this, or, or outboarding stuff, or using, studio gear that's digital, and, computer, but plugins and all this stuff. But the AI thing is just like completely inorganic. It's completely disassociated from the source because it's not the animal creating it, really. It's all we're doing is pushing a button and having that artificial intelligence, create it. And maybe that's okay for some people, but it's not genuine in any way.
Right.
It's manufactured, completely manufactured. I can understand people experimenting with it and stuff. And then on the flip side, don't, call me a tree hugger or whatever you want, but the whole AI thing is brutal in the amount of energy it uses. Even people, they say making their AI, avatars on Facebook or wherever, Instagram, people doing that, it uses like an insane amount of energy just for like a gimmick, a throwaway. It's a disposable culture kind of thing. And I think that's the danger, is that people aren't making things. They're not creative. They're not in it. They're not really experiencing it. It's not from them. It's from someone else. They're just pushing a button or something.
Fresh, what's your new saying about it? You got a new saying about AI, and you've been said it like 20 times. The last 20 episodes, you said the same exact thing. How do you not know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I promise you, may God strike me down.
It aligned with everything he just said. It was like a basic, you've been saying it, like the point of AI was to allow people to create.
Oh yeah, so yeah. Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that we've been doing it all backwards, right? We've got AI being creative so that we can serve the man more, instead of making AI do the shit we don't want to do so that we can be creative.
Well, right. In theory, right. Like we should have AI, running the robots that do ditches, right?
Exactly.
But I think you're right. I think there's a disconnect there, and that's the, there was a band called Crass, a great, one of the most fierce political English punk bands called Crass, like total anarchists. And like one of their things, this is all pre-internet as well, but they had a thing about television, right? And the idea of just being, absorbing instead of producing. And they said they used to say, Big Brother's not watching us, we're watching Big Brother. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
And like it was like the flip of the whole thing. Like we're
And
willfully doing that.
Now we walk around with Big Brother.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, we walk around with a complete surveillance system, and I get it. People get bummed out. You look around, you see everybody at the family table, everyone's staring at their phones, right? They're not talking at dinner, or friends in a room, and it's just quiet. Everyone's staring down with their necks down. And look, we're all guilty of it to some point, because it's really, it sucks you in. It's sexy as hell, right? You want to be in it, and it's. But there's a danger there.
Well, Matt Damon was saying that now when they're making movies, they're having the characters repeat the plot because people aren't watching. They're on their phone. So they want them to be able to hear what's going on. So they will repeat the plot multiple times vocally.
Wow. Wow. So
Yeah.
the script writers are putting that in. That's insane. That's sad. That's like a lowest
is
common
sad.
denominator shit,
It's
Mhm.
probably
Hey,
it's probably AI that is writing the scripts now.
Maybe if the movies were better and they kept my attention, it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
right. Well, there's a lot of trash out there, like everything, just like the music, right? There's a lot of like BS, and
Yeah.
it's up to us to kind of wade through it, and also the due diligence of realizing, like, hey, look around the corner. I mean, there's underground filmmakers, there's independent filmmakers, there's independent musicians. There's people that's creating real art.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to us. To
You got to
go
lift up
the
some
extra
rocks to
mile.
find them, but it's worth finding.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's so much talent out there in the world, so many wonderful, inspired people, but it's
Absolutely.
just we're not getting exposed to them necessarily. We have to, and that's part of being part of the underground. Like you just go and dig a little beyond the surface.
Well, that's why we do what we do, right? To maybe shine a
it's
little
awesome.
light underneath some
No,
rocks,
much appreciated, man. I've been under a rock for a while, man. I just want a rock. I don't want to be under a rock. I want a rock.
Yeah.
Do you want to play a track of something fresh?
I think that we'll get smacked if we
Yep.
do.
Okay.
Like, I think that your music is at the level where I'll get a copyright strike.
Oh, shit. Well, not if you play anything from Lie Heavy, because it's pretty independent, man. It's heavy psych sounds. I don't think either Legions of Doom either, because it's. I know everybody. I know the label people. I mean, it shouldn't be an issue, and I'm in both bands, so all we could say is thank you. But it's up to you. I don't know how that works. You don't have a major label coming after you. I promise you that.
Okay. What song would you want to play?
Well, man, like I said, I'm in two current actual bands. One is called Lie Heavy, which is been in we've had for several years, and that's me and Graham Fry, who was also in Leadfoot on 2 of the 3 albums. And I've been playing on and off with him since like 1994, I guess, 95. And then there and JD Dennis on drums, who's been in a ton of different bands, like a bunch of different bands. And we have Kerry Rawls, who's also in a band called Confessor. It's a famous, really seriously killer, heavy, technical metal band that's from Raleigh that also goes way back. So he's in that band. They're current as well. You could look up Confessor. So yeah, something from Lie Heavy, that my local North Carolina band. And then if you want to play something else, it'd be from Legions of Doom, the band that's based out of Chicago. And there's a whole history to that I could explain as well. But what track off of Lie Heavy? Man, I don't know. What's a good one? You know what? Play Burn to the Moon, the title track.
Oh, I like that title.
See if you can find that sucker.
I tell you, 30 minutes in, it's gonna be lazy and take forever finding the video. Be like, oh no, I can't play it because copyright strike.
No, that should be right there on YouTube, man. Burn to the Moon. There's a lyric video right there.
My elbow hurts.
I think there's the lyric video right there. Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
face, this majesty there, emptiness here, no palace as prison, no feeling so bare. Burn, burn, burn to the moon. Tired of crying. Burn, burn, burn to the moon. Leaving the giant.
It's a long one, man. You don't have to play the whole thing if you don't want.
We'll play a little more.
We go to the bridge, you know, second chorus.
Running away from it all, so I'm drifting to love. I can't recall.
It's okay.
There's no liar. There's no pain. Just a sea of tranquility. Just and the plain. Burn, burn, burn to the moon. Tired of thinking. Burn, burn, burn to the moon. Nowhere not sinking. No hearts that are breaking, so left forsaken. Can't hear the screaming, I'm dreaming to ever grow.
It keeps going, man. You're great. You're good if you want. Yeah.
Oh,
It's basically
you killed our guest.
It's basically a funeral dirge, you know. Actually, we wrote it. I wrote the lyrics for my bandmate Reed Mullen. When he died 6 years ago, just over 6 years ago, he left this mortal coil, and that the lyrics are kind of they are a tribute to him. You know, both the pain and the sadness he was going through and all that. You know, so. It's written on a couple levels, but that's why that came out and ended up being the title track. So that album, it's called Bird of the Moon, but that song isn't necessarily indicative of the whole album. It's kind of all over the place. It's got, you know, parts that feel like The Who, parts that feel like Sabbath, parts that feel, you know, it's you just give it a chance, man. It's all over.
Cool.
Tons of different
Hey.
stuff.
That's great.
Yeah, I
man.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I saw an interview with the two of you from Headbangers Ball on MTV from way back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with Ricky Rackman, man. That was that's an oldie. Yeah,
it was funny to see. It was great to see.
That was a cool moment, man. That was for sure. That was we actually had him up on stage when we came through LA one time. We had him up playing bass on a song. Ricky, that was a cool moment. That was like the place to be, you know. We didn't have the same thing going on that we have now, you know, the terms of promotion. So
no,
they were good to us. So yeah, we really dug that. And in fact, the next time we were on Beavis on MTV was on Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, wow.
And they actually, I'm coming out of the song "The Dance of the Dead," that video. They were playing that, and I'm coming up out of this hospital gurney, kind of a goofy thing, but they're like, that dude's totally pissed, you know, like, and they're like, you know, and they liked it. And Mike Judge, you know, who's the creator, he actually really liked us. So we're like one of the 3 bands that he didn't pan and, you know, talk shit about. There's so many other bands they play. they're just like, this sucks, you know,
Yeah,
like,
this sucks.
Yeah.
but yeah, this sucks, you know, but they loved, he loved us, and like Pantera and like a couple, you know, one or two other things, but it wasn't that many, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that was a cool move. And in fact, that Beavis and Butthead thing was peaking exactly as I was like parting ways with having a bad divorce from the band. So I was like, people were like, that was awesome. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to talk about it. yeah, fuck that shit.
Yeah, it happens like that, man. It happens like that.
Yeah, imagine that, a bunch of a rock and roll band having problems. Unheard of. Membership changes. It was new the first time. Yeah.
Was it egos that clashed, or was there
yes, I believe so, but
more so than anything else?
Yeah, there was egos, and then perceptions of who had more talent, I think. A lot of it had to do with a very heavy-handed producer who was very talented, but was also into this kind of thing of birthing and shaping bands in what he wanted. You know, the old school heavy-handed producer from the old days, like, I'm going to make it be this.
Yeah.
You know? And he was famous for actually breaking up a lot of bands and kicking members out, or pitting one band member against another and filling their head full of like, you're the man, you're the best, you know, kind of thing. And he did that to yeah, but you know, he certainly was talented. You know, he's still alive. You know, I don't want to name him. I mean, it's let bygones be bygones. I mean, we were young. I was in my 20s. Shit happened. It sucked, but you know, woulda, shoulda, coulda, and then you know, that's
you live and learn.
Man. Yeah, I don't know if I learned, but I lived. You know?
Yeah, I like.
I'm not bitter. I'm not fucking bitter.
I'm not bitter. You're bitter.
Yeah, you're bitter. Fuck you. Yeah, no, it's all as well, man. I'm still above ground. I'm happy that I'm still doing it. So I'm leaving on a tour with the Legions of Doom, which is the band out of Chicago that I ended up in because a very dear friend of mine, Ron Holzner, who was the bassist for Trouble. I don't know if you know who Trouble is, but that venerable, amazing, you know, Doom band, a proto Sabbath kind of band that was out of Chicago. They're still going, but Ron was in the band kind of during the early days in the peak. When they were peaking out, they were signed to American Records, like along with Slayer and Danzig and Black Crowes and all that shit. And Rick Rubin produced their record, and it's a great record, Trouble by Trouble. And Corrosion of Conformity, we were huge Trouble fans. You know, in fact, Reed's wearing a Trouble shirt on the back of the Blind album, and you know, we're just, you could hear the influences on that record probably. So I was friends with them, and we'd play shows, and their singer Eric Wagner was just an amazing singer, total character, super talented, unique voice. And sometimes we'd have it like we'd be in the same town, or they come through and he'd be like, Carl, get up here and sing a song with me, man. And I was like, oh my God, you know, I remember going up, they were over there for Danzig and Raleigh, and they had me up singing Helter Skelter by the Beatles with them. They did a version, you know, like it was pretty rad. So, you know, another time we'd cross paths. So I was dear friends with Ron's. We were brothers from another mother. We still are. And Lie Heavy's first show was going to be opening up for them. I believe it was 2020. Was it 2021? When did COVID hit, man?
2020.
Yeah, 2020. So it's like, yeah, it was later. Yeah, the summer of 2020. It was August 2020, I believe. And it was literally like a day or two, like before, you know, a couple of days before my birthday. And Lie Heavy's first show, my band, that's the only band I had at that time, was going to open up for The Skull and The Obsessed. They were on tour together through the U.S. You know, Wino from The Obsessed, and we were waiting for them to show up, and the Obsessed showed up, and we're like, oh, where's The Skull? And we got word that they were stuck in Texas because a couple of the guys had caught COVID at that time. And then I actually contracted COVID, I believe, from that gig somehow. Like there was the first time they'd kind of said, okay, we don't have to wear masks. You could play a show without masks. So we'd just kind of done it. And I was vaccinated and shit, you know, some people weren't, but I was. But I still caught it and had a really shitty breakthrough case and was out of commission for like 11, 12 days, you know, quarantined in the house. My wife was like dealing with, you know, bringing me stuff, you know. a lot of people went through it. I got lucky. I was okay, but it sucked. But when I was there, I got word that they were still in Texas and that um, he had actually Eric had actually died. In Texas. It was horrible. It's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I got word, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that. And about 9 months later, I got a text from Ron, who basically said, hey, I thought I was going to just not keep playing. I'm just so depressed over the whole thing, but I'm sitting here drinking, having a drink of whiskey and, drinking a beer. And it was just like reaching out to you saying, hey, would you be up for singing a tribute gig and doing a skull set with us and going up there and singing his words? And I was just like, I mean, you not only have friends with them, but I was like, oh my God, the guy is like,
It's like an
would be
honor,
me
yeah.
standing in canoe-sized shoes because he's so brilliant,
Right.
And I was just kind of floored, like, oh God, I don't know, should I? I was like, really? I was tearing up, like, I can't believe it. And I accepted the offer and was like fully expecting to go play in their hometown of Chicago at Reggie's after, and like, they're going to be winging old style bottles at me, they're going to be, but they couldn't have been more warm and accepting. And, his 4 kids were in the audience, his ex-wife, his girlfriend,
Wow.
and a packed house full of fans. There was a big memorial banner of him hanging up. So he's like looking down at me. I was like, don't fuck up, Carl. Don't fuck up. And like, no, it was a really, really good, meaningful show. And they said, hey, you know what? Let's do another one. And do another one a month or so from now. And we did, and that was really cool. And they said, hey, how about we do 8 or 9 shows in Holland, Germany, Austria, with a culminating of this Hands of Doom festival in Germany. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. So we went out. That was in like 2022. Yeah, 2022. And did that. I was like also shitting my pants going like, okay, I'm going to go to Germany, which and I don't mean this in a bad way, but I always kind of look at Germany as kind of a nation on the spectrum because they have they'll just tell you exactly what they think. They're not going to be polite about it. They're like, you do not look like Eric. You do not sound like Eric.
Yeah.
I was like so fully expecting them to be dressed down like, why are you here? But they were just like blown away, and it worked out really well. So
Sounds like you made him proud, man. Sounds like you made him proud.
I hope so. I hope so. And I still try, and I can't be him. I'm not trying to be him. There's only one. He's unique. All I can do is honor his words and his memory,
Right.
and do the best I can,
Absolutely.
That's it, man. They're just brilliant writer as well. I love singing his lyrics. And so I get to go do that. So the skull is also became, so we just, when they were like, okay, we have this material, we're trying to figure out the 3rd album. We have 2 albums with him, but he's no longer around. So it became somehow morphed into Legions of Doom, saying, hey, we're going to have you do half the album and then have Scott Riegers from the amazing band that's been around literally since '79. He was the original singer of Saint Vitus. You can look him up, and out of LA. And Scott's a awesome dude. I've always looked up to him. I saw them open up for doing their thing, like their proto kind of Sabbath Doom thing in 1985, opening up for Black Flag at the Ritz in New York. Opening up like a hardcore punk show, but this is a band of long-haired, greasy fucks doing like Sabbath shit, I was like, what the fuck? This is rad, And this is before crossover was really hitting. Like,
right.
Lots of kids had the funny haircuts and the shaved head. The hardcore scene were really judgmental and like, here's this band coming out looking like old school rockers, doing it. But everybody loved it because they were just so fucking raw and awesome. So, anyways, long story short, Kriegers, who is amazing. He did 4 songs. I did 4 songs, and then there's 1 song with Eric Wagner singing, which was actually an acoustic thing he did outside of the skull, and a song called Heaven. And they actually did one of these, modern things where you can kind of erase his acoustic guitar, and they built a song around his thing, his vocal, and it's really incredible. It's beautiful, and it's all terrifying too because it's like, he saw into the future. It's called Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying you should play it, but check it out. If you check out that album, I'm really, really proud of the stuff I did on that record too. And I go get to sing the 4 songs I did over in the tour. We're gonna do some Skull stuff and some Corrosion of Conformity stuff from my era as well on this tour.
Nice.
And we're going out with Crowbar, the mighty Crowbar from New Orleans. Awesome band. Kirk has been at the helm of that band for a long time. And we're just lucky to be, we were added to it. We're like right before them with the band Silverburn opening up. And already, I think 9 out of 16 shows are sold out already.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I'm just I can't fucking believe it. And we're flying. I've never played Ireland. I've been to the UK many times, but never Ireland. Somehow never made it over there. So we got Dublin, Limerick, Dublin, and Belfast in Northern Ireland. And then we go over to Glasgow. And
You know some of the dates for these? Just so
yes, I mean I do. I could.
It's like next week,
Yes.
I believe, right?
Next
I
week.
leave,
Oh,
yes, yeah. The guys are flying in on Sunday, crashing on my house here. A couple of them. One of the guitar players, Scott Little, who's also in Leadfoot, which is in my other band that's still never really dead. We always kind of were, make an appearance, and we have a 4th album in us that
Nice.
we wrote. Like we have more like a double, 4th and a 5th we wanted. So we might actually release that. We're just like gone full circle. We're like, hey, it's fun again,
Right.
So Scott's the second guitar player. Then there's Lothar Keller, who's originally from North Carolina, been living in Chicago for decades. Now he's actually moving back to North Carolina right now as we speak. And he's been the guitar player for the Skull the whole time. And then there's Ron Holzner, who was in Trouble and the Skull, and he's had other various bands as well. But that guy knows everybody in the scene. I mean, everybody. He's been around. Just the most respected killer dude. Awesome bassist. And then the drummers are rotating right now. The album drummer was Henry Vasquez, who's also in Pentagram, we've heard of, and lots of other bands, Blood of the Sun, and he's been a ton of projects.
And they're all crashing at your house?
No. Only
no.
Chad. Chad's coming in from Canada. He's originally from Tennessee. He's flying in from Canada.
hey.
Ron's flying from Chicago. Lotar's already in North Carolina. He's going to be driving over. And Scott lives down the street in Raleigh. I live in Durham.
Nice.
And we're all, they're flying in Sunday. And then we're all actually practicing one day on Monday. And then we're flying out Tuesday to Dublin, So
That's awesome. Well, everybody be sure to check out all the tour dates. Do you have a website or something?
Facebook. So if you go to there's 2 versions out there for whatever, or for Instagram. You can go to the Skull USA, I believe, or that's Ron's personal, but Legions of Doom band on Instagram. But the better place to look probably is Facebook. That's
Okay.
we suck at social media. We do horrible. We're just not on.
I don't blame you, man.
We need to hire 12. We need to hire a 12-year-old to handle it. But so if you go to the Skull and Legions of Doom on Facebook, or Legions of Doom on Facebook, it's kind of on both places.
Perfect.
Or you can follow me. You can follow my ass, Karl Agell, and the dates will be there too.
Awesome. Make sure you guys go follow Karl. We have come to the segment of the show. It's Fresh's favorite segment of the show.
Okay.
It's actually my favorite segment just because he likes the video so much. So I'm gonna ask you questions. Just give me the first thing that comes to your mind, 1 to 2 sentences. And yeah, we'll try to keep it quick. If you had to describe your music as a weapon or a tool, which weapon or tool would it be and why?
A shovel, so I can throw my rock at you. I don't know.
That's a good answer. I like that answer.
Yeah.
Do you have a go-to ritual or habit that helps you get in the zone before a show?
Man, just kind of being with the band before the show is really helpful. Just being a little quiet before the show. Sometimes that involves drinking some tea, but usually it involves maybe a shot and a beer or two. We're just being together for a minute and just focusing a little bit, and then going out and giving it everything you fucking got.
Cool. Have you guys ever recorded a song that you loved but you chose not to release it? And if so, why?
Oh, Damn, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's been stuff for sure. I guess it just a couple things is like we're out of time. There was not enough time. That was tracked. It was a killer demo, and just we didn't. That's been with several bands too. Like it just this is how many we can put on the CD back then. You know, that's going to sound good or vinyl, so you can't have more tracks than that because it's gonna damage the quality, kind of thing. So there's tracks like that were out there floating that I loved, but they didn't make it. You know, and just because I really love them doesn't mean like everybody does. You know.
Absolutely.
You know, but there's stuff I got. You know, I don't know if you need names, but there's definitely been that case for sure.
Cool. What's a lesson that you've learned about the industry that you wish you knew earlier in your career?
Oh God, take nothing for granted, man, and learn the business quick of what matters. You know, like that. You know, I'm really pretty shitty with money, to be honest with you. But you know, if you're not good with it, find somebody who is. If there's going to be any at all, you need to handle it well, even small amounts. You know, so just make sure that you deal with trustworthy people. You know, you know, not everybody has your best interests at heart. You know, just because they're saying yes doesn't mean they actually give a fuck about you. You know. So that, you know, there's a lot of ego pumping and stroking going on that has nothing to do with reality. So I just, you know, just be true to yourself and surround yourself with people that you really trust and believe in, actual friends, and you know that can be counted on.
Cool. What's one genre or musical style that you'd like to experiment with?
Man, I really like. I don't know, man. There's a lot. I really like some really crazy Middle Eastern stuff, man, and Eastern kind of vibes. You know, like stuff that sometimes comes out of like North Africa or the high plains somewhere. You know, and some of the stuff that, you know, going all the way to India and Pakistan and across the Middle East as well. There's some really cool stuff that's insanely heavy and ethereal and you know, hypnotic. You know. So there's some really cool stuff like that I'd love to vocalize over for sure. You know,
Cool.
We'll be looking forward to that.
Right. What's your favorite song that you've ever recorded, and what does it mean to you?
Oh wow, that's a tough one, man. God, there's a lot. That's a really, really hard one. I guess. Wow, favorite song. That's a tough one, man. I'm sorry. This is not a fast fire question, but I'll just say
It's okay.
Comes to mind is maybe like, you know, the most famous track I sang for COC. It was "Dance of the Dead," and the first single out of the gate in the video. And I remember writing those lyrics years before, and I had them in my pocket. And then I found the song that worked for them. So it's just years of kind of just it meant to me, and it still carries a lot of weight, especially in these crazy times we live in. The lyrics. You look up "Dance of the Dead," Person Conformity off the Blind album, read the lyrics. I think they apply to the exact moment we're in. They've applied to many other moments, but you know, I'm proud of that song. It stands the test of time, and I'm going to be singing it every night on this tour coming up. So I'm really excited about that. You know,
That's really cool. If someone made a movie about your life, what would the theme song be?
Oh shit, I don't. That's a tough one. God damn, these are good questions. Should have sent it to me before so I could act cool, like I knew something. Yeah. Oh yeah, man, this is it. Theme song about my life, man. You know,
That's the irony of
Damn,
the
dude.
title, the fast fire questions. Is they're
I
really
know.
they're
No,
really thinkers.
Yeah. You're fucking me up, man. Shit, theme of my life. God damn. Fuck, I don't know, man.
Stumped
That's
him.
hard. You stumping me, man. I just bark out like goofy titles that go with it, you know, like, you know, some kind of don't let them grind you down, you know, or the fucking how about like the Hammer by Motorhead, you know?
There you go.
You know.
There you go. How does your approach to music reflect the way you live your life outside of music?
I think the way I try to live my life is to, you don't necessarily have to be like nice all the time, but I think people deserve that you're fair, you know. And I've tried to learn, and I can not always be accused of this, but I've tried to learn to be a better listener. Sounds goofy, feels like, you know, but you know, I'm trying to be like, I always try to engage with people in my day gig. I got a day gig like everybody else, you know. You know, so I try to engage people and sell what I sell, whether it's at work or with music, by being real and talking to people and connecting to people and trying to get some sense of who they are and communicating as a human being, as a real animal, instead of just kind of running some kind of gimmick on them. You know, just be real, and I think that goes across and you know, it saves a lot of time. If you're not bullshitting people, you have nothing to back up or fix. You know, you know, if you fuck up, it's on its own merits. You know,
absolutely. What would you say is the most surreal experience that you've had as a musician that you thought would never happen?
Oh wow, there's a couple. I got to say, the first really surreal one that hit me, and there's been several moments, but one was when I mentioned this, when the Corrosion of Conformity, early days with me, it was the summer of 1990, and we were in LA, and we were playing in Long Beach at the Civic Center there. And I walk into the thing, and there's like 6,500 people in this building, a Civic Center. It was packed to the gills. And I was looking backstage, and there was like, you know, all these people, man, like famous people, and the guys from Slayer, and like, in my mind, and then like Ian Astbury from the Cult was there with his girlfriend, and all kinds of people. The background and part of Rick Rubin's circle and American Records and stuff. All these, you know, backstage was crazy. And then I go out on the stage and I step on this massive stage, the biggest stage I've ever been on in my life at that time. And people went ape shit. I thought it was like fucking Mick Jagger walking out, you know, and there was 2 giant circle pits, just enormous. Like, and it was just packed to the gills, people going bananas. And I was like, oh my God, you know, I was used to small clubs, you know. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is insane. And it was so cool. It was just so real and overwhelming. And I was like, holy shit, is this even happening? You know, it's like a shit I saw, you know, in movies or on, you know, like it's happened to me, man. Just like a sea of people out there. And it was incredible.
That's amazing.
That first, it just hit me. Like, that was the first time. And since then, it's just, you know, arenas full of people. Yeah, everybody. Nah, I'm lying. I'm talking shit. But no, that was awesome.
Dope. And the cliche question: if you could collaborate with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Holy shit. Man, there's so many. I'll go back to the whole Thin Lizzy thing. I can't wait to go to Ireland and even stand next to the Phil Lynott statue in Dublin. You know, I know a lot of people have done that and stuff, but you know, if Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy, if I, you know, and I know he's a vocalist and bassist and all that, but if somehow I could even just be allowed to do some background vocals or something like that, you know, be in the presence of brilliance, you know, that's one. There's many, many others, but that's one that pops right in my head, you know.
Cool.
You get a lot of people agree with you on that one.
Yeah, damn right. They better. Yeah, man.
Oh, Frame, did you have a question that you wanted to ask?
Which one?
Oh, now it's which one?
I thought you had an outro for your Fast
Nope.
Fire. You don't play it again at the end?
Well, you want me to play it? And that's been...
Woo!
Brilliant. That was awesome. Thank you. I'm better for it, man. We all are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Next level achieved.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Uh,
Well, we usually ask our guests, how do they feel about AI in the music industry?
I already asked that question.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, man, I smoke a lot of weed. So I
That's
guess since we asked it,
So just to rehash, it fucking sucks. Next,
do you
next,
feel it could be
question.
used as a tool?
I mean, I get it. You know, people like polish their emails and they don't, or like if somebody's for certain things, like it's great. I don't know about music so much. I guess in some circumstances, maybe people are amassing tracks and gathering information, but utilizing it in that sense. I mean, there's so many ways to utilize it, right? Like AI in terms of like medicine is like one of the greatest things. Like it saves so much time and analysis of things. Like it's an amazing way to look at data, and it's just a matter, But taking that data, like, what are you going to do with it, right? So if it's art, I don't know, man. Uh, and maybe there's some version of that that's pretty cool, and I'm sure somebody is doing something that's an interesting take on it. But my knee-jerk reaction. I don't mean to sound like a Luddite. The Luddites were famous for smashing. I think these were the people that, if you look up Luddites, they were afraid of technology, and this is back in I think the 1800s or 1700s. Somebody came up with uh, a better way to weave stuff or something, and they freaked out and started smashing it. Like, no, we got to do it the old way. So I'm all for progress, right? When it makes sense, but I think when you, like I said before, when you negate true creativity, like the soul, there's no more soul in it, right? It just seems like it's just removed.
So how would you feel? Like, say there's a kid, he's by himself at home, he uses this to he doesn't have access to money for a engineer or something like that, and he uses it to mix and master, though he's he's performing the music himself.
I tell them, get a job.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
No, look, I get it, man. I mean, I understand that too. I get, I kid the kid, but I mean, on some level, yeah, cool. You're doing that, but just don't think it's more than what it is. You're not brilliant. Another thing is being brilliant for you. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Top 5 hip hop artists of all time.
Top 5?
Yeah.
I like a lot of the older, stuff. I love Public Enemy. In fact, we had the guy, the Vote with the Bullet video, the second video that we did for MTV, was done by Eric Meza, who did the By the Time I Get to Arizona video for Public Enemy. So Public Enemy, I've seen them play several times. That they're kind of top of the list. Obviously, there's other great artists. There's old, like the OG, like Sugar Hill Gang, Grandmaster Flash kind of stuff, like old school, And obviously, everyone loves NWA,
Yeah.
And there's so many other great people. I'm not super well versed in a lot of the latter day people, but I know there's a lot of great, authentic, kick-ass talent of many different varieties in that scene.
Man, you just by putting NWA in there and the other two you said, that's 5 for sure. NWA includes Eazy, Ice Cube.
Wu-Tang Clan, man.
Wu-Tang. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Now he's named 10.
Yeah. Well, no, with Wu-Tang, it's about 32 people.
Right. Exactly.
You got the Wu-Tang backwards, man.
You got the Wu-Tang backwards? Why do you have these collections of cigars? You have the specialist cigars of anybody I've ever seen. Wu-Tang backwards.
No, there's so many great people in that whole scene, and I've seen some of them, and then I've just heard some of them, but
yeah, absolutely.
It's an incredible art form, an incredible scene, and
this is one of my running theme questions that I always ask, and for a while I was like, I don't know if I should ask rock and roll people and other people, but you know what? I'm gonna just do it anyway. I'm gonna keep asking that. I was gonna adjust it, but what's your top 5 rock of all time? But no, we just kept it the same. The top
wrap.
5 hip hop.
No, that's
for
cool. That's
everybody.
cool. I mean, the top 5 rock and roll, that's a tough one too, because it's
Oh,
bore the shit out of you. And
Oh,
I named
yeah.
like 7,000 bands. You know?
Oh yeah. That's a hard question there. That's the argument me and Fresh has had. I say it's not that hard to name 5 to make a top 5 hip hop list, but
Right.
top 5 rock list, woo, that would be rough.
Yeah.
That's
That's a
way too
very,
many.
again, also a very, very broad category. You know?
Yeah. You
Mhm.
got multiple subgenres under rock.
Yeah, what do you
like
mean by
a
rock?
ton
Right?
of subgenres.
You got Elvis, and then you got Chuck Berry, and then you got, Little Richard,
Yeah, do you want to go by generation? Do you want to go by like subgenre? How do you want to
Yeah.
do this?
You don't go by who did the most drugs, which
Oh no, I don't know if you can measure that.
Yeah,
Keith
exactly.
Richards is number 1, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's probably on up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, man, I'm fucking stoked, guys. I really appreciate it, man. And
Oh,
getting
yeah,
to
appreciate you.
talk about myself and what I'm doing.
No.
I don't know Lie Heavy's actually I just came from right before this. I just kind of walked in the door and I was at practice. We're working on the second Lie Heavy album right now
Oh, nice.
in
nice.
Raleigh, North Carolina. So the first one came out on Heavy Psych Sounds. I hope the next one does, but we'll see. Hopefully. And that's a great label out of Italy. Really, really great label.
Okay.
And do really well by bands in this whole genre. And the Legions of Doom were on TP Records, so we're going to be writing the next album eventually. But right now we're just going to be hitting the road some. And then I'm also doing a project, and I've done several albums for Patriarchs in Black, and you should look that up. And that's my buddy Dan Lorenzo, New Jersey, and Johnny Kelly, who's also used to be in Typo Negative. He was the original drummer, and then also he was currently in Quiet Riot. And that last song I did actually had JD from Black Label Society playing bass, and it's a song called "The Call." It was on the last album, the last Patriarchs album. But I've done a track or 2 on every record, or a single track on 2 records, and 3 or 4 on the first one actually. And then I'm going to be doing every time an album comes out, they pretty much ask me to do one. So. I'm super stoked. That's a really fun project. That's studio only,
Oh, nice.
and they have various singers, and I get to be on the same, album as a lot of really, really talented people, a lot of amazing vocalists.
You get
So it's always the same drummer and same guitar player, Dan and Johnny, but they'll alternate bassists and vocalists.
Yeah, you'll be able to scream, "I want more didgeridoos. I want an army
Yeah, more
of didgeridoos."
Exactly. No, it's a very cool project. I'm glad it's ongoing. So so there's Lie Heavy, obviously Legions of Doom / The Skull, and then Patriarchs is the most thing, and then obviously Leadfoot, which has never ever really gone or going away. Yeah. Oh, so I had another band called King Hitter too about 10 years ago.
Okay.
We did one EP. There's a 5-song EP that's insanely hard to find, but I'm really proud of that too.
Yeah, everybody go check out the King Sitter and all the rest of the. Is that what you said?
King Hitter.
King Hitter. Sorry. Hitter.
That's right.
Hitter. Sorry. I misheard you.
Yeah.
King Hitter. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like King Sitter.
I'm not trying not to slur. I'm trying not to slur.
No worries, man. Go check it out. Karl, I forgot how to say it already.
Agell, man.
Agell. Karl Agell. I'm sorry, man. I'm so bad.
Agell.
Karl
I always tell people,
Agell.
so you want to know, I remember how to spell it. It looks like age 11.
Gotcha.
So, Karl, age 11.
I
I figured that out when I was 11. And I had to write. You remember in the old days, you just have to put your age after your signature. You're like Karl Agell, age 11. I was like, oh, look, Agell. So
That's funny.
an amazing moment in my life.
That was
Well,
the real
I'm going to play us
turning
out
point.
with
The pinnacle.
Legions of Doom, All Good Things, if that's cool with you.
That'd be great, man. And that's an uplifting song, man. And
Awesome.
it goes out to everybody out there, man. Yeah, there's the
Amazing.
music for it.
Well, thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thank you so much,
it's been
Karl.
I'm so honored to be asked to be doing this, and thank you for keeping me relevant somehow. And I'm really grateful to everybody out there, man, for checking this out. Thank you so much, everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you. We're honored to have you.
I don't know. All good things. Losing touch with reality, nothing left for me. I try to find my way through fields of hope and despair. And so, dear friends, you just have to carry on. Our good things come to those who wait. Living in a world of pain, hate a part of life. It's all we have to live for. I would rather die. And so, dear friends, you just have to carry on. All good things come to those who wait. Good things will come to those who wait. Good things will come to those who wait. My mom was lost, I know to live alone in so much pain. You have the faith where others have none. There's love for everyone. Oh, good things. I can feel the morning light. And so, dear friends, you just have to carry on. All good things come to those who wish. And so, dear friends, you just have to carry on. All good things come to those who